So I have to make a video just about what I'm doing today. I realized that Christmas TV this year seemed to suck or not be very good. So I decided to join up with Netflix finally. I was watching this movie where I think it was actually Babylon, someone insulting Babylon and saying how the music industry is all run by Babylon and this woman. And although he seems to hate Babylon, on the other hand, he's also describing her as like a goddess and a woman, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about me. And I feel like he's completely obsessed with me. But anyway, he brought up this Warrior Nun series, which sounded quite good, and he was saying how like, oh, this is all about Lilith rising, and I went to go and see it, and it was cool, kind of cool, and I wanted to watch it, but it was on Netflix, and I was thinking, well, there's actually three things that I want to watch on Netflix. I wanted to watch the Messiah one, which is something I've wanted to watch for quite a few years now, and I kept thinking that maybe if I wait long enough, it will be on YouTube eventually, or be on normal TV, and it wasn't. It's only on Netflix, and so and then there was this one that I found, and then there's also this Wednesday, the Adams series that I really want to, Adams Family series that I really want to go on. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna sign up to Netflix so I can watch all three. And so I'm watching The Messiah first, just in case they take it down. I've been kind of worried that they might take it down, and it's annoying the hell out of me. I mean, it's a good interest because it's about like someone claiming to be the Messiah. He's not claiming to be God, though. Make it clear, he's not claiming to be God. He's just saying he's here to do God's will, and he's basically like Jesus because he's saying very similar things to Jesus. And I don't agree with most of the things that he says, and almost everything that he says is just not impressive at all. And it's really bugging me because the people that are hearing him, they're like, oh, like they can't respond, and it's just like you can respond. I mean, he's saying some bizarre things, like he's telling the president to take all American troops out of every country and not go it. You know what? There's problems in the Middle East. There's absolute problems in the Middle East. I know that American troops are definitely not helping, but I would no way go up to a president, or if I was to have a meeting with a president, the last thing that I would be asking is to take all their troops out. And because I don't know, I don't know what's going on in the Middle East, and it's really really big and it's really really complex, and I don't think they're really helping. But at the same time, there's a lot of problems there, and we don't want their problems to come over to other lands that don't have these problems. And yeah, it's very very complex. But yeah, this guy is, he was born in Iraq or Syria. I can't remember where he was born, but um, he went up to the courts to try and get immigration to be in America, and he made the claim that it's fate where you were born. He told the judge, "You're born in America. This is fate, and I was born here. Now it's fate. Now we were both born where we were for fate." But yeah, and he was trying to make his point as to why he should live in America, whilst also saying that God, has is in control of fate. And it's just like, well, if God's control of fate, then you were born in wherever you were born in the Middle East, and you need to go back to the Middle East, because surely if God wanted you in America, God would have made you born in America. And likewise with the judge, if God wanted the judge to be born in Syria, he would have been born in Syria. I mean, technically, I don't think life or a lot of things is all about God's will. There's a lot of characters in this film that are all about, oh, I'm here to do God's will, and it's all about making. Why would you even want to do God's will? I mean, technically, God is not you. You need to do your will, and God's will is pretty much everyone wants in this film wants to do God's will, but how can you do God's will when you have no clue what God's will is? All that to me sounds like people who are just making up some fantasy God and claiming that, oh, I know what God's will is, and whatever I'm going to do it with my will, but I'm going to make out that it's the will of God. And it's just like putting a blame. If something goes wrong, oh well, God told me to do this, and if something goes wrong, or you can say, oh, it was my mistake if it went wrong, but if it goes right, then yes, see, God did tell me His will, and I was doing God's will. I don't know, but it's really bugging me. And this main character, who's the wife, so the wife is called Anne, no, Anna, the wife of this the guy that he's living with, which it made no sense because he kind of, I don't know, he's got like magic, so he can seem to just disappear and then show up somewhere, but it's not like very clear how, I mean, it's clear that it is magic because there's a video clip of him being in a prison cell and then next minute he's free and no one knows how he got out. But at the same time, that's clearly not realistic and it's just for the film and stuff. And then when he's having these interviews, he does say some magical things, e.g., oh, I know your wife, your mother, and your husband are dead and they've passed away. Technically, this is just a film. It's just a script, and this is not real life. But yeah, if someone knew all these things, then they are called a psychic, and it's kind of magic how you know all these things. But yeah, if you ignore all the sort of the obvious magic, like him walking on water and stuff like this, um, yeah, if you ignore all that and then just listen to everything else that he says, nothing makes sense. Woman's the Anna's daughter. He seems to have chosen Anna's daughter for no real reason. There doesn't seem to be any reason, or he doesn't seem to even know what the plan is or anything. And then the mother asks him, what do you want with my daughter? And he just says, I'm here to do God's will. And she's like, what is God's will? God wants to put a flood on the world. And so she's just like, and then I don't know, it's like she's acting like that's normal, and that's not a normal thing. If someone was wanting to hang around my teenage daughter was and he was saying that he wants to do God's will, and God's will is to put a flood on the earth, like a real literal flood, or whatever he's talking about. I would want my daughter to stay away from this guy, and I don't think the daughter even likes this guy very much. Like, they don't even seem that close, and it's just really random. And a lot of things that they say, people are like, wow, or like they're staring at him like they're amazed by how incredible the things that he's saying is, but nothing he's saying is actually very incredible. And it's just like, yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. And you know, on one hand he's claiming to be the Messiah, but on the other hand he's also claiming that he doesn't have any plan and he doesn't really know what he's doing, um, and he's trying to make people happy as well by saying, God works within you, and whatever you decide, this is what God's will is, because God is working within you. So he's feeding up people's beliefs, egos, and on what they want to believe, and he's getting people on his side for this reason. But he is getting people on his side for this reason, for him to be self-worshipped. And yeah, I don't agree with any of this. But anyway.